Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, broadcasted to you from Jeddah live. Before we receive your questions, or until then, I just remembered that last week after Ask Huda, I think it was either on Friday or Saturday, I forgot. If I recall correctly, a sister from Romania called and she said that she's to go a procedure with her gynecologist, and that she would be sedated. They would give her anesthesia throughout the process. And she was asking, does this affect my fasting? And I said to her, yes, if you were unconscious, this would affect your fasting and you have to repeat the day. I was wrong. When I went home and I reflected, I found out that no, the answer was wrong, and the correct answer is, as long as a person is conscious, even for a moment during the day of Ramadan, his fasting is accepted. Meaning, there are three people. There is someone who goes asleep, so he's unconscious willingly. And there's someone who faints, so he's in a coma, a temporary coma, or for a short time. So this is without his intention, voluntary. And there is someone who goes insane, and this is something that he has nothing to do with. These three, only the one who is asleep. If someone sleeps before the Adhan of Fajr with the intention of fasting the following day, and he oversleeps until the sun sets, don't ask about Dhuhr and Asr prayer. He's sinful for not waking, but for one reason or the other, the clock did not work, he didn't wake up. Is his day valid? The answer is yes. Though he did not, or he was not conscious for a moment during the day, but he was asleep, and this is something that he could have been waken up, and he could have been alert. Scholars say for those who faint, or temporary insanity, or even being sedated by choice, if they intended to fast, but they got unconscious before the Adhan of Fajr until the sunset, this day is not accepted. But if they were for a minute or more conscious during the day of Ramadan, then their fasting is accepted. We have Brother Saad from Saudi Arabia. Yes, brother.
Sir, I have, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have two questions. My first question regarding fasting. I have fasted 16 days in Saudi Arabia and remaining 14 days in my home countries. But during travel, I miss one fast. Shall I have to make up that fast? And my second question, is it allowed to make dua from graveyard? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Brother Sajid from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. I'm fine. Jazakallah khair.
I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased to see you on the TV.
Jazakallah khair. Turn down your TV and listen to me from your phone, please.
Okay, if you wish, sir.
Yes, Brother Sajid, what can I do for you?
Sir, I have three questions. The first question is, but a little bit long, and so let me read it to you, sir. Do I have to re-accept nikah?
For what?
Because I accepted it, putting a name instead of my name.
What was the reason?
Or accepting nikah is soul to soul in Sharia.
I didn't get your question, Akhi.
And another question. Okay.
Sajid,
Do
ya
I
akhi,
have to repeat again?
Sajid,
sir?
turn off your TV. Turn off the volume. You're listening to me from the TV. Listen to me from your phone.
Sir, do I have to re-accept nikah because I accepted it, putting a name instead of my name, or accepting nikah is soul to soul in Sharia?
Okay, I will answer your question. Second,
And another second question is, can I perform pilgrimage even though some debt bundles of others on me, which blank of debt I cannot feel? Thus, I try my best and also I can't afford, but I am with a sincere intention to pay it.
the third question.
And that question is this obligatory to perform pilgrimage by newly married couple?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Brother Nasir from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, I want to know the procedure of offering tahajjud prayer in Masjid al-Nabawi, Laylatul Qadr prayers, the last 10 days of Ramadan.
Okay, what specific question do you have about it?
I want to know about the procedure. See how many rakats they pray and how the procedure, how they pray.
Okay, okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Assalamu
well,
alaikum.
Brother Saad's first question was about a person who fasted 16 days in Saudi Arabia and then the remaining 14 in some other country, his hometown or whatever. And he missed one day. So he's asking, what should I do with this day? Of course, Ramadan is marked in Saudi Arabia because this is where you were first in. So the first day of Ramadan in Saudi Arabia, you fast with them, 16 days. When you go to another country, the Eid is depending on that day, on that country as well, not on Saudi Arabia anymore, because now you take the rule of the locality and the community that you are with. So you may fast 29 days, 30 days, 31 days, Allahu A'lam, depending on how or when was the moon sighted. You cannot fast less than 28 days because Ramadan cannot be less than 29 days. So 28 meaning that you have one day missed. Now in your case, because you traveled from Saudi Arabia to your country, you missed one day, which means that you did not fast that day. You have to make up for that day because it was a day of Ramadan. Now if you told me that, wallahi, I traveled in the evening, so the day, for example, Tuesday, or today's Friday, I traveled after sunset from Saudi Arabia. So Friday I fasted. I reached my country before the Adhan of Fajr on Saturday, and I fasted Saturday. So Friday and Saturday were fasted. You have no days to be made up. But if you travel during the day of Friday or during the day of Saturday and you did not fast that day, you have to make up for that day. He's saying, what is the rule on making dua in a cemetery, in a graveyard? If you're making dua for the deceased or for a particular dead person, your father, your grandfather, your brother, this is halal. This is permissible, this is recommendable that you make dua for them. But if you want to make dua for yourself, saying, oh Allah, forgive me, oh Allah, pay my debts, this is not permissible in a graveyard. Sajid had 3 questions. The first question was not clear. He's saying that, do I have to make up for the marriage contract because my wife changed her name for one reason or the other, maybe for immigration, maybe for documentation, whatever. And we know that the marriage is between a soul and another soul in Sharia, and I don't know where he got this, but marriage is marriage. So if this individual, and there are witnesses, and the guardian of this girl is there, and he says, I give you my daughter, this particular daughter, to you, whether her name is Zainab or Fatima or even Khadija, it doesn't make any difference. But of course, as long as they know that this is the one who is the daughter of this person, who's being wed to this man, the marriage is correct. There is no need to change it unless there are paperwork that has to be changed. He's saying that what's the ruling on someone performing pilgrimage when he has debt? Well, if your debt is being paid on monthly basis, on installments, and you're punctual, and when you go to Hajj and come back, you still have your job and you will be still deducting from your paycheck, this is permissible and there's nothing wrong in that. But if you don't have a steady job, or you have an amount of money and you're going to utilize it for your Hajj, and there are people wanting their money, then it is not permissible for you to go to Hajj. You have to give the people their money back, even if a portion of it, because Allah Azza wa Jal did not oblige you to have Hajj until you are able to afford it. Okay, brother Uthman from Ghana.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Mubarak to you as well, akhi.
Thank you very much. I have a question.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm in uni working now.
Okay.
So anytime I make procedure to come to Hajj, but the procedure is too far. Maybe how to afford the money is too high. So I don't know what is the procedure somebody will make if you need to come to Hajj. If there's something you do before or other reason. And my second question, we have some imam in our place. If we are praying Taraweeh,
Okay.
so for the distance, the Safi witr, we pray all together like the Maghrib. I don't know whether I can join for the prayers or I can leave for the distance, the Safi and witr after I pray. Okay. My third question. Maybe I'm in this way for, let's say, 3 years. Sometimes my wife is calm, and sometimes the situation is too high. You cannot go. I don't know whether I have offense on her or I don't have.
I didn't get your question, the third question. You work sometimes?
Yeah, I am in UAE working. Maybe I spent 3 years in that place. I leave my wife
Okay.
back at Ghana.
Okay.
So anytime she requests for my coming, so I say she should wait. So
Okay.
I want to know whether I'm being offending her or not.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you very much. May God bless you.
وجزاك يا أخي. Mansoor from Saudi Arabia. Okay, I think Mansoor is gone. The third question of Brother Sajid, he's saying, okay, Mansoor is back again. Yes. Salam wa rahmatullah.
My question is about adoption. If a person doesn't have a child, can he adopt a child of his brother?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
حياك وجزاك يا أخي. Sajid's third question was, is it mandatory, is it obligatory for newlywed to perform Hajj? If they did not perform Hajj in their lives at all, whether they're newlywed or single, they have to perform Hajj. But if they already performed Hajj, this becomes a sunnah, because in Islam, Hajj is mandated once in a lifetime. If you did this, khalas, you don't have to do it again. You're not obliged to do it again, but you are recommended, as it is also a good form of worship. Brother Nasir is asking about the format of the prayer in Al-Masjid Al-Nabawi. I have no idea. Most likely they would pray 20 rak'ahs in the Taraweeh, and then they would take a 3 hour or 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half gap for tahajjud, and then they will pray another 11 rak'ahs. I'm not sure of that. Brother Uthman from Ghana, he's saying that he is unable to afford to go to Hajj. Every time he tries to, the expenses are so high and he's unable to afford it. Allah Azza wa Jal will exempt you. Allah Azza wa Jal told us in the Quran that Hajj is mandated upon those who can find the means physically and financially. So if you're physically fit but you're unable to go financially, Allah Azza wa Jal will pardon you. He's asking about the Imam in Witr. He prays like Maghrib. So he prays the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah he sits for the tashahhud, and then he stands up for the third, and then he sits for the last and final tashahhud, and then concludes his Witr. So what to do? The answer, we've stated this before. Join him and pray with him and conclude your prayer with him. The Imam is following a respected school of thought, and alhamdulillah, as long as he believes that this is okay and you do not believe that it is okay, you follow him and your prayer, inshallah, is correct. He's asking about an expat who leaves his wife for about 3 years, and she always called him to come back, and he says, wait, inshallah, a little bit longer. And he's asking, am I offending my wife? Am I doing something wrong? It depends. It is her God-given right that she has a husband next to her. So when you have to go, definitely you're not going for fun. You're going to work, to earn money, to put the bread on the table. Therefore, it has to be in agreement. If she says that, okay, go for a year or two, then you have to honor the agreement. But if she says that she is being harmed by staying away from you, she's afraid from fitna, from tribulation, because she doesn't have a husband, and she has her own desires, she has her own feelings, and without a man next to her, she is afraid of falling into sin. If this is the case, then it is forbidden for you to stay away from her. You either go back or divorce her. You either fulfill her rights or set her free to pursue her rights in a halal fashion. And usually it comes to an agreement if you talk nice to her and tell her how much you miss her. And if you can get time off your job, that would be better every a year or two. Mansour from Saudi Arabia is asking on the ruling of adoption. He wants to adopt, or someone else wants to adopt his nephew, the son or the daughter of his brother. Adoption per se, as in the Western definition, is forbidden in Islam. Meaning that you take a child that is not biologically yours through proper marriage, and you give that child your name, and he inherits from you, and you inherit from him if one of you dies. And your siblings are mahram to him, and etc. This is forbidden in Islam. What is permissible is that you take an orphan, or you take a child, and you raise a child in your house, and you treat him as your own, but he knows that his father is so-and-so, and he or she, the child, are not related to you except in the normal way. Meaning that if you have a daughter and it's a boy, they are not mahram to each other. Your biological daughter is your daughter, and this one is a stranger. Also, in inheritance, he does not inherit anything from you. Okay, we have Thabit from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question. We know that abortion is haram in Islam unless the mother's life is in danger. But is the ruling any different in the first 40 days of conception?
Okay. Any more questions?
Second question is, if I have bought another house and I don't have an intention to sell it at present, maybe after 5 or 10 years I will sell it. The second house, do I have to pay zakat on it?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, shukran.
Hayyakallah. Nusaid from the Emirates. Okay, we've lost Nusaid. Brother Thabit, before we go to his question, I have a question from Abdul Rahman, and she's asking, sometimes you say you have to make up for the fasts that were missed in the past. And sometimes you say you cannot make up for the fasts that you missed in the past. So how can we know which is which? Well, there is a rule. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen says that any form of worship that is timed, that is bound by time, if a person does it before or after, without any legitimate reason, it is not accepted, even if he makes it up. Likewise, prayer. Prayer time, dhuhr, is from this time to the time of asr. Someone prays it before, it's not accepted. Someone prays it afterwards without any legitimate reason, it is not accepted, and he cannot make it up. So don't make it up. Likewise, in fasting. If someone intentionally says that tomorrow I'm not going to fast, the whole month of Ramadan I'm not going to fast, and then after a few years, mashallah, he starts practicing and says, wow, I missed the whole Ramadan, I'm going to make it up now, we say no, it's gone, because you intentionally missed it. This is different than when a person starts Ramadan and in the middle of the day he feels hungry and says, no one is watching, and he starts eating and drinking. We say that you've started to fast a day, you've started the form of worship, and then you nullified it yourself. You have to compensate for it, you have to make it up. Likewise, a woman who has her menses for 7 days, and she, whether fasts or not, it's not accepted because she has her menstruation. So she skipped so many Ramadans, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, and now she says, I have 200 days to make up. I didn't make them up. So what to do? We say now you have to make them up because you did not skip them intentionally. You were obliged, it was a must for you to not fast, so you have to make them up now. Abu Safwan from Kuwait.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
I'm fine, jazakallah khair.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Sheikh, I have a question for you.
Okay.
The bank where I have my account, they have a different scheme. There when you put the money, certain amount like say 100, 200, 300,000, actually every month they have a draw for account holders particular to that account, not for the all. And they give a price, 1 million every month.
Wow.
The question is, and the probability goes as much money you have there. How many hundreds you have that many probabilities of winning. You may get, you may not get. So
Okay.
if it is allowed,
I will
because, okay, this is not, is it clear?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. The second question is, if for any reason, if a lady wants to cut her hair to make some arrangements, do them beautiful, so to what length it is allowed? Below shoulder, up to shoulder, this is thing.
Okay, I will answer your question.
Okay, thanks, Jazakallah.
Well, yeah. Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I have a question for Zakah.
Okay.
For instance, if I have gold of 40 grams, I pay Zakah for this year. Shall I have to pay the same Zakah next year as well?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah. Thabit from Saudi Arabia was asking about abortion. What is the ruling on aborting a pregnancy that is less than 40 days? It's an issue of dispute among scholars. And if there is a legitimate reason for that, such as hardship, such as too many children, such as need for traveling to study, or any legitimate reason that is not a real Islamic legitimate reason, but something that would relieve a person from his hardship, if the pregnancy is below 40 days, it is permissible for that reason. But it is highly recommended that you do not abort it. Afterwards, it's a different story altogether, and it is not as easy. He's saying also, second question, that I'm buying a house and I'm not intending to sell it. Maybe 5-10 years from now I may sell it, but this is my second house. So do I have to pay zakat? As long as it is not for sale nor for investment, you just bought it maybe to rent it or to give it to one of your children, there is no zakat on this. Abu Safwan is Muhammad Saeed. Okay, Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, other than Muhammad Saeed. Yes, brother Muhammad.
Hello.
Yes, bro.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I have some curiosity question, I can say, not related to Ramadan, basically. What Islam says about aliens?
Aliens from outer space.
Today the whole world is talking, because there are a lot of scientific details.
Okay.
And second thing is, there is a request from my side, because today we have been seeing a lot of people in Burma and India and different parts of the world are suffering, specifically the Muslims. But I have seen in even my nearest masjid, even I'm staying in Jeddah, and I'm seeing a lot of masjids praying only for Syrian Muslims. But they always miss these non-Arab Muslims, I can say.
Okay.
Is it? What is the reason, and why? There is no people are really taking it, even though they are also Muslim. And we've seen 20,000 Muslims are killed within a week time in Burma, and it's a very big thing. Even if you compare with Syria, I do agree that Muslims in Syria also kill, but if the number is too huge,
I'll answer your question, inshallah.
It's a request for my side, I can say.
Okay, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Wa jazak. Brother Muhammad Saeed. Brother Muhammad Saeed from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, please, I want to ask question. What is major shirk and minor shirk? And is it allowed to pray behind shirk imam, or what's the ruling on it?
Okay, I'll answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
Hayyakallah. So let's go quickly over the questions we have. Brother Abu Safwan had a question about a special treatment that they give to some customers of banks. So he says that in the bank where he has his money, if you have like 50,000 dinars, he's from Kuwait, then you will be eligible to have a special status as an honored customer. And they say that if you have a money deposited in your bank account that exceeds this, every month they have a draw, and the prize is 1 million dinar, I think, and that is a lot of money. It makes people dribble, and it's so tempting. But this is haram. This is not permissible. Why? Everything is haram, haram, haram. I'll give you an example. If I give you 100 riyals as a loan, and then I tell you that I need from you a favor, that you keep your car with me for a couple of days, and then I say, okay, I'm going to borrow one of your rooms in the house for a week. Because of this 100 riyals, this is riba. Any loan that brings back interest, this is riba. So what does this have to do with the bank? When you deposit your money in the bank, is it a deposit? For example, you come to me, you're traveling to the UK for a month, and you say, Sheikh, take this a necklace. It is 100,000 riyals worth of necklace. Please keep it safe until I come back. So this is a deposit. I say, okay. And I put it in my safe. I put it in a box under the bed, and I keep it in a very safe place. And once, subhanallah, a burglar breaks into my house, and he steals everything, including that necklace. The man comes after a month and says, give me my necklace back, Sheikh. And I said, sorry, a man broke in. Here is the police report, and he stole also my things. He said, this is not my business. I want my necklace back, or you have to pay for it. Do I have to pay for it? The answer is no. Why? Because I was doing him a favor. I was depositing whatever he gave me, and I did not do any wrong things. Now, with the bank, it's different. Now, I'm depositing 100,000 riyals in the bank. It's my account. And all of a sudden, the following day, the whole bank is burnt. Do I go to them and say, give me my money, and they say, wallahi, sorry, the bank is gone? No. They will guarantee that they will arrange for my money to be brought to me back, which means that the transaction between me and the bank is not a deposit transaction. It is built or based on loan basis. So I'm actually lending them the money. That is why they do not put it in a small box with a lock on it. They take my money and your money and everybody else's money, and they invest it. They go and buy properties, they go and hedge it, they lend it to people with interest or without, Allahu Alam, depending on the bank. So whatever the bank gives you, this is riba. Because you have an account with them, so much money, they're giving you mobile phones, they're giving you chocolates, they're giving you gifts. All of these gifts are haram for you to use. And he's asking, is there any limit? Okay, after this question, inshallah. The last question. He's asking, is there a proper length or specific length for the hair of the women to cut short? The answer is no. As long as they're not imitating or mimicking kafirs, women especially, or they're not imitating men, they can cut it as short as they want. They can have it up to the ears or to the shoulders. There's no specific length, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break. Stay tuned.
There is an American sister who is very active in Dawah in Egypt, told me personally that she traveled between Buddhism and Christianity and different sects, and when she came to read the Quran, she started by reading from right to left, Surah Al-Fatiha. She said, I swear, once I finished it, I fainted. I could not believe myself that there is such book that people were so negligent and ignorant about. That has to be the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she said, I accepted Islam simply after reading Surah Al-Fatiha and knowing
the first chapter,
it's
7
meaning.
verses.
7 verses.
The Arabic itself, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke the Quran. So this is by itself is a medicine.
It is a word of
It's
Allah.
a word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It goes into the heart.
It was not created, rather Allah spoke it out.
May your Ramadan nights be blessed with welfare and forgiveness. Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
You can't do that because you do not know what to say to them sometimes. At least you raise up your hand and ask Allah, oh Allah, please give guidance to this brother of mine. The importance of following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To follow our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam means you must understand his sunnah. Adinu Yusrun, Islam is a very easy religion, simple religion. So don't make religion difficult to yourself. I believe this hadith is very common to all of us. But the beauty part of this hadith, number one, it started by Umar al-Khattab saying, Sami'tu. Now again, I'd like to share with the brother and sister to understand the beauty of this saying of the companion.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Let's go to the emails. Sabrina is asking about a loan that she had taken before she was practicing, and it's a student loan, and we always get this question. It is not permissible to take student loans because it has interest, so you'd rather not study at all, do anything, try to get money in a halal way, but you cannot get the student loans for your studies at all. So she said, I did this, halas, a long time ago, and now it has accumulated a lot, and I have to pay it back, and it is a lot of interest occurring to it. So every time I pay a payment, it goes to the interest rather than the bulk of the loan. So what to do? Am I sinful every time I pay for it because it's in my name? The answer is no. As long as you have done that in the past, and you were ignorant and you've repented and you sought Allah's forgiveness, Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive you. Try your level best to borrow from halal means without interest and pay off this debt once and for all so that you would not have to pay it again. Muhammad says that I have 40 grams of zakat, so I paid last year. Do I have to pay this year again? You were wrong in paying last year because the zakat on gold can only be paid if the gold reaches 85 grams of 24 karat gold, of pure gold. 40 grams, you don't have to pay zakat. But hypothetically speaking, if you have 85 grams of gold or more, you have to pay 2.5% every single year on what you have. So for your question, 40 grams, this is not zakatable. It has to go up to 85. Brother Muhammad is asking, what does Islam say about aliens? And I was trying to, I write my questions in Arabic usually, and I was trying to think of a word in Arabic. I could not find it at the time. So if he's asking about aliens as in E.T. and these creatures from outer space, Islam doesn't say they exist, and Islam does not deny they exist. We don't have any knowledge of their existence or not that they do not exist. So talking about something that is not there is a waste of time, and Islam tells you don't talk about something that has no value to you. He's asking the same question as I've mentioned before. A lot of the masjids in Saudi Arabia, in the Arab world, they supplicate in Taraweeh and Qunut against the Bashar regime, against the kuffar in Syria that are doing what they're doing, if they are kuffar. And he says that no one talks about Burma, no one talks about the atrocities worldwide that are happening to the Muslims. And why is that? Is it something racial? Because they're Arabs like them? The answer is no. We've described this. It is wrong for them not to also mention Burma. They should mention Burma. And a lot of the masjids I know mention Burma, but there are that only mention Syria. Why? First of all, the media is focused only on Syria. In the Arab world, all what we see is Syria, Syria, Syria. And something is being plotted there. So that is why it would be natural for them only to remember Syria. Second of all, Syria is the Sham area, which includes Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine. It is the blessed lands. And it has a place in the Muslims' heart because all the signs of the hour will come and cascade from there. There is, at that area will be the killing of the Antichrist and the descension of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, and all the great battles will take place around that area. So that's why people usually put a focus on that. And then Muhammad Saeed from Saudi Arabia is asking, he's saying, Brother Ishaq from Dubai. Yes, bro. Salamatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question. I'm going to recite Surah Yasin every morning.
Okay.
Is it permissible or is it something bid'ah that comes into?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
And another question I have, sorry.
Okay.
About the hair cutting of ladies that you just said. Can you just give us some reference, because we're just looking for some reference that if it's till how short can we cut it till hair till ears or something, please?
Reference of what? What do you want me to say? Yani that the Prophet said, ﷺ, that it is permissible for you to cut short your hair?
Yeah, exactly, please.
I don't have to, akhi, because whoever says that it is not permissible, he has to provide the evidence. But I'll tackle this, inshallah, later on.
Yeah, please.
Hayyak Allah, akhi. Abdul Kareem from Saudi. Abdul Kareem.
Sorry, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm Abdul Qayyum.
Abdul Qayyum. Okay, brother Abdul Qayyum. Yes, what can I do for you?
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair.
But I have three questions.
Okay.
Is it okay to recite Al-Baqi 100 times after Jummah Salah?
To recite what?
Al-Baqi.
Al-Baqi, the name of Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah, 100 times after Salat al-Jummah.
Okay.
Second. And Surah Jummah on Friday.
On Saturday?
No, on Friday.
On Friday?
Surah Jummah on Jummah.
When?
Surah Jummah, to recite Surah Jummah on Jummah Friday.
Once. To recite it once, well, in the morning, in the afternoon?
No, after Salat al-Jummah.
After Salat al-Jummah. Okay, 3 times.
Yeah.
And the third question?
Okay, third question. Is it obligatory to finish Quran twice in a calendar year?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Hayyak Allah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sister Amina from the Emirates. Sister Amina.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question for you on interest.
On?
I'm from India and I have a good amount of money in the Indian banks. There is no Islamic bank in India, so we deposited in some of the banks there. But the problem is they are giving a good amount of interest for us. Now, we were told that don't keep the interest amount in the bank, just take it and give it to somebody. But my question is, how can I, when I don't have to take interest and I can't give interest, then how can I take that interest money and give to somebody else?
Okay.
Can you just explain me what do I do with this?
Okay, I will answer it, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazaki. طيب. Okay, then this would be the last caller, inshallah, until we answer the backlog. Uthman from Ghana.
Yeah, how are you saying?
Hayyak Allah, akhi. Welcome back again.
I want to know the meaning of Anisa.
Anisa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anisa. Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Muhammad Saeed is asking about the difference between major shirk and minor shirk. Shirk is associating others with Allah Azza wa Jal. Major ones would be devoting things that can only be devoted to Allah Azza wa Jal, such as praying for someone else. If you pray or slaughter, sacrifice for a dead person, if you fast as a form of worship to glorify someone else other than Allah Azza wa Jal, if you have full dependence on others than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is all part of shirk. If you call dead people thinking that they will intercede to you, and you say, oh, Jilani, Tijani, Badawi, Shilillah, Sayyid, or whatever they say, and you say, oh, forgive me, or ask Allah to forgive me, all of this is part of major shirk, because you're deviating from the straight path, and you are diverting from Tawheed to associating others with Allah Azza wa Jal. If you believe that if I go to the Kaaba, I will not have any children. I've been going there for 10 years. Oh, Allah grant me children, and I don't have any of my offspring. One tells me, go to Al-Hussein in Cairo, to the grave of Al-Hussein, though he's not buried there, but they claim that he is there. And write a petition and throw it. In 9 months, you will have a child. And so this happens. And I believe that, oh, this is a miracle. No, this is an act of shirk. And you've done something that nullifies your Islam. Minor shirk is what can be lesser than this, yet it can be, most of it can be verbal. So if I say, for example, whatever Allah wills and you. So whatever you, and I'm putting you side by side by Allah Azza wa Jal in willing something or wanting something to happen, this is minor shirk. When I swear, I said, by my father's head. This is swearing. I cannot swear except by Allah Azza wa Jal. Or if I swear by Al-Kaaba, or if I swear by the Prophet, when Nabi, by the Prophet, this is all minor shirk. It becomes major shirk if in my heart I believe that what I'm swearing with is equal to Allah Azza wa Jal. And what is the ruling on praying behind someone who has this? If the Imam has major shirk acts, then I cannot pray with him, because his prayer is invalid for himself, therefore it's invalid for those praying behind him. But if it's a minor shirk, then I should look around. If there's no one else to pray behind except him, then my prayer is valid, inshallah. Ishaq from Dubai, his mother reads Surah Yasin every single morning. We ask the mother, why do you do this? If she says that I love this surah and I love to read it for my own, it's okay. If she says, because I heard the hadith saying that whoever recites it in the morning, he will not die in the evening, or Allah would give him this or that, this is not permissible, and it becomes a bid'ah. But if you like a surah, if you like an ayah, and you keep on repeating it for yourself, I love to recite this particular surah every morning, every afternoon, then this is permissible, but do not assign a specific time, saying that, no, every Fajr prayer after Salah I have to recite it. Then this becomes a bid'ah. Recite it the whole day, in the morning time, any time, then this, inshallah, is permissible. He's asking about women cutting their short, and he wants a reference. There is no reference. Now if someone tells me, wait, a woman cannot cut her short below or above the shoulder, I say, give me your evidence that the Prophet forbade this. There's no evidence, then I will not accept what you're saying. Now, what I said was, it is permissible to cut their hair short as long as they're not imitating a kuffar. So if a woman comes to me and she shaves all this part of the head and she leaves the head, the rest of the hair coming to her face, and this is a haircut of the kafir, this is not permissible. If she cuts her hair exactly like a boy, and you cannot tell if she's a girl or a boy by looking at her hair, this is haram. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ cursed the women who imitate and they mimic men. So I provide you with the evidence that proves that this and that is not permissible. Anything else is permissible. Wallahu a'lam. Abdul Qayyum from Saudi Arabia, he's saying that what's the ruling on saying the name of Allah Al-Baqi 100 times after Jum'ah? Repeating the names of Allah just like this is haram. It's an innovation. So if someone sits in his house and he says Allah, 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 and he counts 1,000 or 100,000, saying just Allah, this is not permissible. And it is an innovation, and it has no value. You either say Subhanallah, you say Alhamdulillah, you associate it with something that praises Allah Azza wa Jalla and glorifies Him. What's the ruling on praying, reciting Surah Al-Jumu'ah 3 times after Jumu'ah? It's another innovation. It is not permissible. What's the ruling on, is it mandatory to read the Quran twice a year? And the answer is no, it's not mandatory. The recommended is that you recite the Quran once a month, not once a year or twice a year. Every Muslim, normal Muslims, recite the full Quran, they read the full Quran every 30 days, every month, so that they would be able to fall under the category where the Prophet ﷺ instructed Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As to recite the Quran once every month. Amina from the Emirates, she says that she's in a dilemma. How does she get rid of the interest compiled on her bank account without her permission, and then you say you cannot take interest and you cannot give interest? I'm not saying that you can take interest willingly. If you have deposited your money in a bank and they gave you interest without your permission, and they don't ask usually, they just put, so what to do with it? Taking it is haram because it's interest. In this case, scholars say you take it, not to use it in my clothes or eating or buying a house, and not to give it as a form of getting closer to Allah as charity, but rather as to get rid of it. So how do I get rid of it? Do I throw it in the dustbin? Do I give it to Sheikh Asim? No, you give it in means of charity, such as Huda channel. So you take the interest and you donate it to Huda so that they can do more programs and develop their channel. You give it to someone who's getting married and he's unable to pay for the cost. You give it to someone who wants to be admitted for surgery in a hospital and he's unable to bear the cost. You give it to someone who cannot pay the rent, cannot pay the electricity bill, etc. There are hundreds and hundreds of ways, but when you give the money, it's not a favor from you. So you don't go to your relative say, I'll give you something for your electricity bill. This is getting rid of the money, which is haram. So it's like cleaning your throat from a najasa. It's exactly the same. There is nothing in it for you. Uthman is asking me, what is the meaning of Anisa? Anisa, I don't know. Anis and Anisa, it comes from hopefully, it stemmed from the pleasure. So when you call a boy Anis, or when you call a girl Anisa, meaning that they are a pleasant sight to see and they're pleasant to be around with, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Let's take a few calls, inshallah. Yes? Okay. I'll answer a question here. The question is, a person who made a vow and he finds it difficult to continue to pray night prayer. His vow was that I will pray night prayer every night. But then he oversleeps and sometimes he's tired and he say, can I pay kafara for that? The answer is no. As long as you're still fit and able to pray, but you find it hard, yet you're able to do it, you have to sleep early and you have to fulfill your vow as well. This is Arsalan. He sent a message asking about a person during Salah. He tries to stop passing wind, but he feels like something went off. And during Khutbat al-Jumu'ah, he felt that something came out and it was too late for him to go and make new wudu and come back. So he prayed with them, thinking that he's not in the state of wudu. And then he prayed dhuhr back again. First of all, if you have these whispers that something came out, something may not have come out, the rule is that you do not make wudu until you are certain 100% that you've nullified your wudu by passing wind. And this is the rule. Always certainty remains. Doubt has no effect. Meaning, I come out from the house, performed wudu, prayed fajr, and then went to work. What is certain is that I am in the state of wudu. At 11 o'clock, I wanted to pray duha, and then I started thinking, did I nullify my wudu or not? I don't remember going to the bathroom. I don't remember passing wind. So what is the rule? The rule is, your wudu is intact, go and pray. Yes, but I have a doubt. The doubt has no value. Unless you're certain that you've nullified it, then certainty remains. Likewise, in the opposite. If I went out of my home and I'm sure that I did not perform wudu, and I went to work, dhuhr time comes, I started thinking, did I make wudu before I leave or not? I don't remember. I remember I woke up at 8 o'clock and answered the call of nature, but I don't remember if I made wudu or not. Then certainty remains, which is, I did not make wudu. Go to the bathroom and make wudu to pray dhuhr. So I hope this. Mahmoud from Nigeria. Okay. Abdul Aziz from Saudi Arabia. Abdul Aziz? Oh, Abdul Hamid, sorry. Yes, Brother Abdul
Assalamu
Hamid.
alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamualaikum.
Ramadan Mubarak to you.
To you as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
The banks generally, when we use the credit cards, they give some vouchers,
Okay.
which we can use them as gifts in some sort of stores. And also they have some special gifts which when we go to a restaurant, let us say, they give 50% discount or something of that sort. Is it permissible to use these vouchers?
I will answer the question.
These are for all credit card users, and it's not specific for some
I know. I understand.
account holders. Yeah.
I understand. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Brother Abdurrahman from Saudi. Brother Abdurrahman.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
My family went to Umrah 5 months back, and we went to Medina also at that time.
Okay.
Now we plan to go for Umrah on 20th Ramadan.
Okay.
Since we will be fasting, we think it will be difficult to go to Medina.
Okay. And you're residing in Jeddah?
Is it necessary to go to Medina each time we go to Makkah?
Okay. I will answer the question.
I stay in Dammam.
Okay. I will answer the question, Abdurrahman. Thank you. Abdul Hamid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Abdul Hamid's question was it's a different issue to the bank accounts that you deposit your money. It's the other way around. The credit card companies, Visa, MasterCards, whatever it is, they are interest-based. Definitely, they are one of the biggest institutions of riba. Because you know about the grace period, the 40 days or the 45 days. If you're late in payment, they will immediately put riba on you. So it's haram to have it to begin with unless it is in a very, very limited cases and you have to. And usually I tell people that do this, whenever you get a credit card, deposit 10,000 riyals in it so that whenever you withdraw, you're actually withdrawing from your own account. But he's saying that most credit cards, when you buy from shops and your payments exceed 5,000 riyals, for example in Saudi Arabia, they give you a coupon worth of 100 riyals. You can go to a steak restaurant, or you can go to clothing or perfumes, and you can buy things with this coupon that are worth 100 riyals. So is this permissible? The answer is yes. You are not lending them anything. On the contrary, they are lending you. So if you give them interest, this is riba. But if they give you something over as a gift, this is permissible and it is not haram. Remember, it is highly recommended. It is actually forbidden for you to get credit cards that are riba based. Nowadays in Saudi Arabia we have Islamic banks such as Al-Bilad, such as Al-Rashi, alhamdulillah, and they give you credit cards without any interest on loans that you usually are late on taking. Abdurrahman from Saudi Arabia, our young friend, says that, is it a must to go to Medina every time we make Umrah? The answer is no. And thinking that going to Medina is a must when going for Umrah is an innovation. We never go to Medina after Mecca. All the time we make Umrahs hundreds of times and we come back home. We don't have to go to Medina. We go to Medina separately on a journey on its own for the sake of the Masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, but not because it's related to Umrah. So you can go on the 20th of Ramadan to make your Umrah and you have no problem in this, inshallah, without the need of going to Medina. This is Rubay'a. She's saying that her husband got angry once with her and said, I'd rather have another wife who listens to me. He doesn't know what his intention was. He just said that and then felt sorry for it. Is this considered to be divorce? Divorce is divided into two types. One that is clear, I divorce you. One that is metaphorical in the sense that I don't want you anymore. Go to your father's house. This is the last between us. This is not clear divorce, but it depends on the intention. So if the husband says, when I said to my wife, go to your father's house, it's all over, and I meant divorce, then this takes divorce. So we have to ask the husband. As for the statement of your husband, I would rather have another wife who listens to me, who doesn't. Anyhow, this is not a divorce. This is a wish. And you could be wishful till the day of judgment, and this would not be consisting of divorce. You have to try to communicate with your husband. You have to be as he wishes you to be, a jewel in his eyes, rather than making problems to him to the extent that he says such a statement to you. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He fixes whatever is. The brothers in the control room say that please forgive us, for there are so many questions, there's so many lines, and I'm afraid that we have only maybe 1 or 2 minutes. How much time left? I think it's 1 minute. That's why we cannot take any of your questions. So I do apologize, and I wish inshallah that you will call tomorrow, same time from 5 to 6. We have 1 minute left. So an unknown person sent a message. He says, why did Musa punch the angel of death that caused the angel of death to lose an eye? First of all, this is an authentic hadith. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari. Musa, peace and blessing upon him. As we know, all messengers of Allah cannot be, they cannot die unless the angel of death requests them and they give the permission. So the angel of death came on the prescribed time for Musa's death, and he came to him in the format of a man. The angels come in any format they wish. And when he came and introduced himself, Moses, known to be very tough and very strong, he was not scared, not frightened. He was startled by this man coming and saying, I'm coming here to take your soul. So he punched him, and he was, mashallah, very fit. And the eye of the human form was gone. So the angel of death went to Allah and said, you've sent me to a man that doesn't want to die. So Allah told him, go back to him and tell him Allah Azza wa Jal tells you to put your hand, if I recall correctly, Allah tells you to put your hand on the skin of a bull and or a bison. And as many hair you touch, I will give you a year with that. So the angel went, and then he requested permission. And Moses recognized him and said, okay, come, no harm done, inshallah. And he told him about this. And this almost calculates to like 10,000 years. But Moses, peace be upon him, said, and what after the 10,000 years, or whatever years that the hair is equivalent to? The angel of death said, it's death. So even no matter how long you live, eventually you must die. So Moses said, no, if this is the case, then I'd rather die now. And he took and captured his soul. So the hadith, to those who don't have belief, who said, oh, the angel of death lost an eye, now he's like Moshe Dayan. No, it's not like that. It was the human form that was affected. The angels, no one can harm them, no one can do anything to them. But it was the human form that was affected, and then he came back to Allah Azza wa Jal and requested what you have heard. Adil bin Abdullah. Okay, I'm afraid that this is all the time we have. Until we meet you tomorrow, inshallah, same time, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and